back. Welcome to Blank as a Fart,
Yes.
the Twin Peaks podcast starring me, Gabe, and my good buddy over there, Ian. That's him.
That's me.
We took a week off, but we're back, and we're hitting you with the season 1 finale. Big episode, lots of shit goes down here.
We had to prepare
What'd you
for
think?
it. We had to prepare for it. It was
Oh.
heavy. It was like this really intense thing that we had to rest and then kind of come back for.
Honestly, I'm glad we took the extra week to cover this one, because I think I've got more notes on this than I've got on any episode we've done so far. So,
and you know what's funny? I have a lot to get I have a lot of notes. I wouldn't say I have more notes. I think my notes have been pretty consistent.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious, if there was a place that I should, I wish we had, a website, and this is not important, but, just, Ian's diarrhea notes unedited, and I just post this long list of just, because I have so much just random comments that I make that probably don't make
the
it on the
archives,
show.
Huh?
Anyway, but, yeah, I'm...
Boy, if we did DVD box sets or something anymore, that would be a really nice little Easter egg, wouldn't it?
Right. But,
I miss Easter eggs.
I mean, they're still around.
Physical
kind of,
media,
right?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, people hide stuff in their stuff now.
Meaning now.
Yeah, I mean, it's
but
not.
You don't have the hidden menus that you used to. Oh boy, are we getting off track early?
Not really. I should just remind people, everybody, everywhere out there, that we are now our own podcast. You can search for us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. Blank as a fart. Search, or maybe search Twin Peaks. We're listed under the entertainment, like film and video. So just check us out. And then if you want to watch us on YouTube, we are still on my YouTube page, youtube.com/milkmanpictures, where there is a Blank as a Fart playlist, and you can watch all our episodes there as well, which generally seems to be pretty popular still.
I haven't looked at the views lately.
Well, I think we probably need to share it more now. I mean, it's been a gradual decline, Gabe. We probably need to start not sharing
the actual series,
not sharing the but not sharing not so much. It's good that we share the live stream night that we're recording tonight, but we probably should do a midweek share. Here's the podcast, go watch it.
Yeah,
we probably should start doing that. And that's my fault.
I need to get back on
Not
that.
necessarily your fault. I haven't done that either. But we need, put some more force behind that. But, we still got people.
We can do that.
Did I tell you that we got...
that ball rolling?
Was that last week or did I say anything last week about someone... I don't think I did. I think this was 2 weeks ago on our last episode. Someone commented on an episode.
Oh, no, I didn't realize that.
Let me read the comment really quick. Maybe it's someone you know. I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe not. Let me see here. No, it's not that episode. I'm trying to find the episode really quick. I apologize. This one probably. No, not that episode. What episode was the one? What episode is the one that the guy commented on? You have to go back and.
Well, while Ian's searching, I'll give a quick shout out to a friend of the show, Domer, who provides us with our theme music. The name of that song is Big Old Dead. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, and probably anywhere else you can find our podcast, to be honest with you.
It's a great song, too.
I love that song. It's a great album overall.
Yeah, I should listen to the whole album, really. More. I have it right here. Why is it not showing up? Oh, my God. It's showing
technical difficulties, folks.
It's showing my reply, but it's not showing the actual comment, which is weird.
Did they delete their account or something?
I don't think so. That's very weird. Anyway, someone did. The comment was more or less, I'm here for Gabe. Ian's cool, I guess, but I'm really here for Gabe. And it's that was the comment.
Tell me which episode it was. I'll see if it shows up on my page later.
I think it was episode... What are we at? 8?
Yeah.
I think it's the number 5.
Number 5? All right. I'll take a look later.
Anyway.
If I...
On YouTube.
On YouTube? All right. I have an idea.
I don't think it was Domer I think he did subscribe to my YouTube page, and
okay.
But it wasn't that name. It was someone else's name. It was like, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, Domer.
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 All
right, Domer. All right, let's get on it. Let's do it.
Yes.
Finale time. Fireworks.
Yes. Season 1 finale. Bing, bang, boom.
The last evening.
The last evening of this season. So
of any season.
I mean, it's not the last evening of the story.
Right.
The story goes on for another 25 years. But once again, this week we are picking up exactly where we left off. James and Donna are breaking and entering Jacoby's Hawaiian-themed office. They find a collection of cocktail umbrellas tagged with dates, locations, and notes. Weird little hobby of his, but I get it.
He's like a tiki therapist,
right? It's a big running theme for him, and there's nothing wrong
creepy.
with that.
No, it's fucking creepy.
Gosh, I know he's based on a real person. I'll have to do some research on that.
Oh, we should mention this. It was written and directed by Frost.
Yes. Yeah, this one was the only episode directed by Frost. We'll get into that later on. We find a collection, we covered that already. They fiddle with the sound system for a while before Donna pretty quickly discovers the mystery coconut that she'd heard Laura mention in the tapes. They pop it open and find the missing cassette and the other half of the heart necklace.
Bum, bum,
bum, bum, bum.
Jacoby is the killer. Case closed. Let's move on.
Yeah, yep.
Nope.
We've done it. We've done it, folks.
I guess not.
Way to go, teens. They always figure it out before everybody else does.
I do like how everyone has their own little group of It is kind of funny that everyone has their own little section of groups that they hang out with, the kids,
their own investigations,
the adults, but even the adults have their own adults that they hang out with. So this episode's interesting because I'll just say it really quick. Catherine runs in, and then Catherine and Shelley have an interaction. It's so weird to see these two people together because they're not characters that are ever. Why would they even be together?
Right. Yeah. It's such a weird reason for them to interact.
Yeah. Anyway.
And it's weird. Yeah. Again, we'll get to that scene later, but I had a few things to say about that one for sure. But anyway, yeah, having found what they came for, Donna and James hop back on the bike and head out. Bobby creeps out from the shadows to reemphasize to the audience that he screwed James over, just in case we forgot. Meanwhile, back at the park, Jacoby is hiding in the bushes, spying on Maddie doing her cosplay as Laura. All of a sudden, our unseen creeper from last week sneaks up from behind and assaults him.
I mean, this could be a WWE wrestling, Forrest Gump versus Dr. Jacoby. They both are so aggressively different. Though I'm not 100% sure this is Forrest Gump, but it might be. But it could be.
I'm going to disagree with you there.
You think it is Forrest Gump?
It's probably not Forrest Gump.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's Forrest Gump.
This is one of those ones. Yeah. This is something we'll have to get into later because
I know, but at the end of last episode, I said the return of Forrest Gump ? And then there's a guy, obviously this time, that guy who was waiting around, this guy, but I don't think it is Forrest Gump. I think it's another guy dressed up,
somebody else with a mask.
Yeah,
I think that's probably more likely here.
Is that what you're gonna push?
Pretty sure Forrest Gump is a bit of a one-off.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
I gotta go back to that episode and pull a still of that. I'm gonna pull a still of that episode of that guy. What the fuck is this dude? Who is this guy? Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Bring back Forrest Gump.
I haven't done any deep research on Forrest Gump myself, but maybe there's something to that. We can dig into that later on.
All right.
The masked attacker pauses as he seems to realize that something else is going on with Jacoby. He runs off while Jacoby crawls toward Maddie, who is leaving with Donna and James. Ultimately, he fails to get their attention, and he rolls onto his back, eyes wide, while his heart thuds in his chest. Extreme close-up and a clever dissolve to the roulette table. Mm-hmm. What did you think of that shot?
It's fun. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really think it. I thought nothing of it, Gabe.
No, didn't.
Didn't do nothing for me.
Even from a filmmaker's perspective, that wasn't.
No. Yeah. I will get to the one shot that I was like, oh, that's a pretty cool shot.
Okay. But that was not the one.
That was not the one. I was like, that's pretty simple transition.
It was different for television, though. Again, that seemed more of a filmmaking technique than you'd be used to seeing in prime time in 1990.
Well, I do think so. You're watching it on DVD, and they do like a preamble on the show, or like a pre-scene thing on the DVD.
There's the Log Lady intros. Oh,
So I don't get any of that. I don't get
that.
any of that shit.
No, and the Log Lady intros are different. Like, there's no real like pre. It's just kind of like, it's a Log Lady dialogue.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't get any of that.
And they were written for the re-airing of the series on the Bravo network.
Yeah.
Like, this was something that was filmed supplementally several years after the fact.
Yeah, so I just get straight into the show.
I mean, it's not. I wouldn't really say it's like an introduction per se. It's just a little bit of flavor.
Do you feel like it adds anything to the show overall? Since I don't have any of them, nah, not really.
It's fun if you're into it, but like for somebody who's doing their first run through, I wouldn't say it's like it's more for fan. It's fan service.
It's a fan wink. Yeah.
Yeah, more or less.
Gotcha.
There was something I was going to add to that. Oh, I do also get like the little, like when it originally aired, you have the previously on Twin Peaks. I also get those segments. So if I'm feeling like I need it, I can always get that recap for what's going on, and then it does have the teaser for next week's episode as well.
Well, fake Forrest Gump was really taking it to Jacoby, dude. Like he was bringing the hammer down, and like I almost thought he was the one who was gonna. I mean, I thought he was gonna kill him. I'm curious what. There's this moment where he stops and he looks at him, and Jacoby's kind of fucking doing something, and he stops and. And I'm just like, were you supposed to kill him? Was the plan to kill him? Like, I'm curious about that kind of. Like, I feel like that was intentional, very intentional. Like,
or was he just trying to take him out so he could go in and further investigate Laura without interference?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still not sure what the motivation there is, but regardless of what it is, Jacoby is off the board for now.
What a creeper.
Oh, poor guy. Poor Mahalo guy.
Gabe could have played that character with his eyes closed. I think Gabe would have made a great Dr. Jacoby. I stand by that.
Hey, still can.
Still can.
Like I said, that's
we're gonna do a fan film.
Yeah, young Jacoby. Yeah. We'll get a crowd fund. We'll get it crowdfunded so we can film it in Hawaii. Because we'll have to do that.
Like, why he's so into tiki?
Location.
Why he's so into tiki?
It's an origin story, man. So yeah, we'll set up the GoFundMe. We'll get out to Hawaii, do a little guerrilla filmmaking.
That sounds expensive still. Anyway, all right.
Anyway, roulette table. Big Ed is continuing to lose money. Bad gambler. Not Cooper though.
Not Cooper. Right away, back to Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper is Rain Man level blackjack player, cashing in on Jacques yet again.
Mother always said, "I was born lucky."
Born lucky.
Like Jesus, the amount of cliches in this episode is ridiculous. But
this is like some of the hammier acting that you see from Kyle MacLachlan, and I think it's kind of meta. I think this is Cooper trying to act. And Cooper himself is a little hammy at it.
Maybe.
That's kind of the take I get, because I think Kyle MacLachlan is too good of an actor to be playing it like this if that weren't Cooper being Cooper,
I mean, it happens again and again. This episode. There's a lot of weird shit in this episode.
There is. And I feel like maybe that's just because a lot of it was rushed and they had to cram a lot of it in. This one felt like a really frenetic pace. compared to some of the other episodes.
I mean, it's a short
episode.
I mean, it's only 47 minutes, like all the rest. Like, it's really short. It's not like they didn't really. I did do this, Gabe. I did kind of like check the next season first episode. That is a 2-hour episode. That first episode of the next season is 2 hours on my thing. It says 2 hours, but like this is like a. Do you know or not? Maybe.
I don't know. I'll look at the DVD. I'm not sure myself. I kind of wonder sometimes, like, if there were a couple of instances where, like, the night of the premiere, they ran episodes 1 and 2 back to back.
Okay, well, like,
or something like that.
So
but you're on
season
on Showtime,
2,
said, right?
I just I'm on Amazon, so like Paramount Plus, I think it's
Showtime.
through.
Oh, Paramount Plus channel. Yeah.
So then I just motioned over to episode 1, season 2, and it says blah blah whatever the title was, and then it says 2 hours. You know, so it's like
okay.
So I was like, oh, okay, so this is like which is interesting because like
It's
gave very
possible.
little. They gave very little like time for this season finale, and usually season finales are usually the ones that are a little bit longer. You know, they kind of do, but this was a very concise, quickly paced. Let's get through this.
Yeah, and maybe that's just because they didn't know how much of season 2 they were going to have when they were filming this. So I mean, they obviously knew they were going to have some, but
I have another question that's just totally random.
Mm-hmm.
So like this time when I I clicked on to watch the episode tonight. Early on, I select the episode, but above it said 3-time Golden Globe winner. What did it win Golden Globes for?
I didn't research the Golden Globes.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
They have notes on the Emmy nominations at the end, but I did not double check the Golden Globes. We can do that
okay.
once we get to the wrap up, because I do, like I said, I do have those notes about the Emmy nominations that season 1 earned. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that
later.
In our summary. But back to the plot. Cooper turns down an advance from one of the hospitality girls before he tips Jacques with the broken $1,000 chip from the cuckoo clock in the cabin.
Yeah, baby.
Sneaky guy. Cooper tells Jacques that he's a friend of Leo's. Jacques plays dumb but accepts Cooper's offer to buy him a drink to see what kind of business he has to offer him. We get to Blackie's office, where Audrey is approaching in her evening wear. I'm sure you enjoyed that.
Let me tell you. First of all, Blackie's like they're playing cards, and then she's putting down tarot cards. As she's watching the monitors. What's interesting,
Yeah.
But what is interesting though is when Audrey walks in, and yes, Audrey is very attractive,
looking good.
At the end of I don't know if you have more to say about that interaction, but Audrey and Blackie have an interaction, and then I'm expecting for Blackie to use one of the tarot cards to talk, but instead she just like lays out a whole like deck of cards and pick a card, and it's just like, what is the point?
Gun?
Yeah, it's like what
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, what is the point of like the whole tarot card thing if then you just use a deck of cards? It was just so like okay.
Yeah, why was the tarot deck there in the first place? What does that establish?
Exactly. So it's so like it's just funny to me. Like I would have used the tarot deck. Like just I don't know. But whatever.
I mean, I understand the regular deck fitting with the theme.
Sure,
of the
like
casino.
the Queen Diamonds thing that she picks is like, yeah, pick a card, and she picks the Queen of Diamonds. That's cool. I get that. But it's like at the same time, it's like,
but what's
why not just have her being playing solitaire? That anyway.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny
because we never come back to that tarot thing. I don't think we ever like really explore Blackie as like a superstitious or witchcraft type.
Yeah, she doesn't really seem like that. Right?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, aside from maybe her Stevie Nicks wardrobe, but
sure. Okay. There is
Stevie Nicks at the prom.
There does seem to be a little flirtation between Blackie and Audrey. A little bit.
That was
a little
kind of
sexual
a sensual
chemistry.
interaction.
Yeah, she kind of like Blackie puts her hand on when Audrey picks the Queen of Diamonds. Blackie kind of touches her hand in a very like sensual manner and looks at her in a very certain way. It's like, oh my god, What is this
Yeah,
about?
there are definitely some suggestive looks exchanged between the two of them.
Yep.
Yeah, that caught a 12-year-old boy's attention, let me tell you.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. Actually, we can get to that right now.
Yeah, that's the scene we're at.
I see why young Beck was so interested in this show when he was a young man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, especially
And there
this
were more
episode.
reasons than one, but I
Especially
mean,
this
yeah.
episode where you have all these young girls running around like in, lingerie, just kind of doting on people, and it's just kind of crazy.
It
Like,
left an impression.
it
Yeah.
did. Wow. And then, anyway, carry on. There's some other. I'll point it out again, but there's some more
Oh
weird.
yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole series, really. There were boundaries pushed in a lot of ways. Sapphic erotica being one of the least of those. Where were we? Evening where Blackie voices her approval before she lets Audrey know that the owner is going to be in tonight. We know who that is, but Audrey
Creepy.
doesn't because there's no names at One-Eyed Jack's. Favorite card, Queen of Diamonds. We covered that. Then we're off to the van where Hawk and Ed are listening in as Cooper spins his yarn to Jacques. Cooper demonstrates his understanding of the whole scheme and even makes a quick mention of Laura. That spooks Jacques quite a bit, but Cooper calms him down by convincing Jacques that he's the money behind Leo's whole operation. Cooper sets him up by offering him a job on the other side of the border, right back in the Twin Peaks jurisdiction. But before he lets Jacques go, Cooper asks him the story behind the chip. Jacques offers a pretty detailed description of the event, which ends with that whole gross reading of the bite the bullet line.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where I'm at here. So like, this is one of the most intense, kind of weird, creepy fucking scenes, and I felt like I needed to sit back in my wheelchair and take a hit from my oxygen mask after that. You know what I'm saying? This is this creepy level David Lynch bullshit right here. Like, just watching Jacques' mouth and the way he relished in saying that shit is just like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I get this is like disturbing. Like, like if
Jacques,
I were
Jacques
12
in
years old
particular-
watching this with my mom, it probably would have been turned off. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty. I mean, even it's just a retelling, but it's kind of a graphic, weird retelling.
And again, yeah, 1990 prime time.
Oh, I
television.
know. And it's just like,
Yeah.
And like, I gotta think. I don't even know if David Lynch, if that was his idea or if it was Frost's idea to shoot it that way. But like, that is because you can't
Frost's
show
the director of the episode,
right.
So I would have to assume that was all him.
But because you can't show graphic shit, well, what is the most gross thing we could show to make it seem graphic? It's his mouth. It is just that slobbery kind of mouth, and it's just like,
yeah, and that grin at the end is just.
Yeah, it's
it ramps up the creep factor. It's really unsettling,
really intense,
and it's
really intense.
It really sets the tone very appropriately
for what. It also just. Yeah. Anyway,
it prevents you from getting desensitized to the whole scene. I think
because
we visited that crime scene over and over again at this point, and Cooper has done his best to humanize it for us, but then we start to see like these people who did exploit Laura and what they were getting out of it, and it's just it really starts to bring
you say that, and I was feeling sorry for Laura. It's like, oh, that's really fucked up. But then as this episode goes on, it's like Laura's a fucking freak weirdo, as you learn from it's like.
But why do you suppose that is?
I don't know, but like,
why are girls her age typically into things like that?
Well, yeah, but that's the other thing, like stuff that you haven't mentioned yet, but there's stuff that shows like there's some fucked up shit.
There is some fucked up shit going on, and we're starting to understand that we're just scratching the surface of it.
Right. I will say, okay, one more thing. There's a continuity error here. I don't know if you caught it. If you've ever caught it. The beer. So Jacques downs a fucking beer. He downs it, And then when he leaves, there's 2 beers like
full.
Mostly full on the table.
Yep.
So I just wanted to point that out. It's like, someone fucked up there. But yeah, I thought that was funny because like they make such a point of him fucking chugging that beer.
Yeah, just another way to make him seem just like a gross human being.
Right.
I mean, all they left out was the huge belch at the end of that.
That would have been an easy, but it would have been an easy fix.
Been too silly for
just
the moment.
Pour one of them out, just like have one. I mean, I get the Coop bought him 2 beers. That's fine, but like just make sure one of them's empty. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those little foibles that you miss. But yeah, that's a fun one for the people with eagle eyes like us.
This episode moves. This episode moves fucking crazy fast. I think obviously it takes place all in one night.
And it's still the same
night from the last episode, right?
Yeah.
But like it moves fast. It's like it's like, hey Jacques, I got a job for you. It's not the next day and then we go into the. It's like that night. It's like
he's like, yeah. Go now. Yeah.
Go now.
Drive now. I'll meet you there in an hour. And, we head right there from this scene. So pretty much after Jacques chugs his beer and heads out, Cooper gets on the wire and lets Harry know the fish is on the hook. We do get a couple other scenes in between. We have Audrey just sitting there gloomy in her room with nothing to do because she's just kind of trapped in there. So she's not learning much.
So all I'm gonna say, I'm gonna do this for the rest of this. She's just sitting on that bed, looking very attractive and stuff. But I just start doing all these things, and it really starts to become a theme as I go through this entire rest of this episode. But my first my only comment was, "Oh, Audrey," sigh. Okay, and that's it.
I can totally see that, the Vanity Fair write-up for this episode.
I will say also, you made the fish
the timestamp. Oh, Audrey, sigh.
But it's gonna come for many characters through this episode. Like it's just like, oh, blah blah blah. It's just like oh yes. But I will say you already mentioned the metaphor, but holy shit, the fishing metaphor through this whole like catching Jacques is out of control.
Really heavy on the lingo,
it's out of control.
It's like you got to keep yourself entertained somehow in a small town sheriff department, right?
I guess.
This is the most excitement they've seen in like 15 years.
I feel like Mark Frost was high. He's just like, how can we keep this metaphor? Let's just keep doing the puns through this entire fucking.
I kind of wonder if they used it in like old Hill Street Blues episodes too.
I've never.
This is his wheelhouse, is the police procedural stuff.
I guess, but it seems so corny. It's so funny, like how they just kept. I gotta keep him on the hook.
Yeah,
and and when we get him, we'll grill, and when we catch him, we'll grill him. And it's just like, what? Just like, it's nonstop in this scene. Like it's not. I don't know. Anyway, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It is funny, and it keeps going on. But that's not where we go after Audrey's room.
No.
We go to the Johnson household. Oh, Shelley, sigh.
Oh yes, that is. I do have that too. There. I do have it. Oh Shelley, sigh. I do have that one there. Yes. Sorry.
It shows it up.
Yeah,
it
happens.
Right after Oh Audrey.
It's right after Oh Audrey.
She's there washing her hair with her trusty gun by her side, but
it looks like she's washing her hair with dish shampoo too. Like, what is this?
It's pretty sudsy, isn't it? Well, and she, of course, gets it right in her eye, even though she's done this a million times before, presumably.
Oh, I thought it was in one of her wounds, but maybe.
Oh, that could have been too. I thought she was kind of like squinting it out of her eye. But either way, she reaches for the towel, and it's not there because Leo is. He greets her with the classic abuser's line of, "You made me do this."
So good.
It's so true too. Fucking sucks. Hate it, but so right and so true. Then we're off to the water processing plant, which is the site of the big sting.
This is the big fishing metaphor sequence.
Yep, a lot of that talk there.
But
Just a
if you
quick chat with Harry and Andy about women.
but if you do think about this, Andy does catch the big fish ultimately. And then
In a way, yeah.
and then there are guys around the water cooler talking about the big catch. I mean, this is going to lead into this other thing, but you know what I mean? He is the guy who caught the big fish, and then it is impressive to said person. Anyway, it is interesting. I don't know if that's was even a dialogue or a thought.
It's like this whole episode is a fish on a hook
Right?
being led to a net.
Right? With the guy who's not the best fisherman, but it's his come up, and then it resolves into the. Anyway, it's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was thinking. This it's interesting. I mean, it's kind of cliche also that. Go ahead, finish the
it's a different
scene.
take.
The scene breakdown.
Yeah, let's get the whole thing out there before we evaluate it. So quick, Matt. Yeah, Jacques pulls up and the trap is sprung. Everybody surrounds Jacques. He feigns a surrender, but quickly grabs for a deputy's gun and turns it on Harry. But one single shot rings out, striking Jacques in the shoulder and putting him down. Believe it or not, the hero of the moment is Andy.
Yes.
Perfect stance, icy calm, dead on target. I'm bummed that Cooper is not in this scene to see it happen because, man, I would love to see the pride on
that'd be
his
interesting.
face.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, we never get to see Cooper's take on that, and I'm kind of bummed out because I love to see proud parent Cooper. And man, I mean, Andy gets his moment with the boys, but that validation from Cooper would mean so much to Andy. You can know that. So I that's the only regret I have is we don't get a scene of Cooper.
And I don't really know.
Validating
I don't
Andy
really
in that
know why
way.
we couldn't have.
Yeah, aside from
Because
the
it
fact,
seemed like he was done at the place, and the other guys, the other two guys, were both Ed
and I
and
kind of wonder if the only reason Cooper isn't in this scene is because of like scheduling conflicts or something.
maybe it had to have been because I felt like Ed and what's the sheriff's name?
Harry.
Harry. I thought they all went together to the
Ed was
casino place.
Harry didn't go to the casino.
I
Hawk
thought he
did.
went with them because they were talking to him outside in the van.
No,
Yeah, they were. Weren't they doing the
not
conversation?
Harry.
It wasn't Harry.
Harry
wasn't
was
there?
waiting back on the border. Harry was waiting
was
at the
he?
water processing plant with Andy. Ed and Hawk were in the van listening
Ed
to
and
Cooper.
Hawk. So what is
Yeah.
Ed doing? But Hawk
Ed's
was
a
at the.
bookhouse
But
boy.
Hawk was there.
Hawk's a bookhouse boy too.
I know, but Hawk was at the water place.
Yes, he drove there after.
No, because he's in the van with Ed.
Yeah.
But didn't they take Cooper to that's what I'm saying. Like, didn't they all probably go together? Like, this is my weird continuity. Like, I feel like they all went.
I bet Cooper had his own car.
I don't think that is true. But okay. I feel like I think Cooper could have been there because I think Cooper was done at the
goes back
casino.
To the fact that, it does seem weird that Cooper wasn't a part of this scene, and I think it's probably a scheduling conflict that prevented him from being at the shoot on this day.
It would have been cool though.
Even the line about him being, not being there for the catch, really kind of felt like a punch up.
Right. It would have been cool that like you have Andy do the shot and it does the reveal and then Cooper runs in and is like, that would have been a way more fulfilling kind of like, oh, Andy, good job, or like, I don't know. Anyway.
I would have liked to have seen that, but
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Scene as it is, I like the scene as we got it. Too.
It
works very well.
They did do some kind of dialogue about Cooper meeting them later.
Yeah,
but it just seems like okay. So it still doesn't mean you couldn't have been there. You still could have showed up just too late. Just a little bit too late. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, it feels very weird not to have Cooper in that scene.
But yeah,
why
Andy,
that's the case, who knows? But
Andy caught the fish, man.
Way to go, Andy. He's got what it takes when the shit goes down.
Yeah, especially after
And
all that.
he had the best comment at the end too. Better call that ambulance.
But it's just like, that's his. At least this is a lot of the character development hasn't really played out that well, really in a long form situation. But this is like the one thing where they planted the fact that he was a bumbling, person with his gun in another episode, and then it played out to be the hero in this episode. So it's like,
right.
Is it?
Yeah,
is
we
it the
finally got a
best?
payoff for some scenes some
Yeah,
seeds that were planted earlier.
it's very. I mean, a lot of the character development it hasn't worked out that well that way. It's all very basic and I don't know. But this is one kind of thing that's like has an arc to another episode that I felt like, okay, that's cool.
Well, and a part of this that I just thought about on this viewing is that this is only like 2 or 3 days removed from that event in the shooting range.
That's true.
This isn't like Andy's had a lot of time to sit down and practice with Cooper, which is kind of what I initially thought. Like the first few times I watched the series, I'm like, oh, great. Andy put in the work and now he's good to go. No, this is him just like, just the gears clicking into place when the shit hits the fan.
It's kind of funny though.
It's instinct for him.
It'd be interesting to see this show rewritten and shot, kind of taken into account of everything, because obviously Andy is going through some shit right now with his relationship and his work, and I think you take less time in certain things in kind of share some little more bits of other character, and you could like really build off that character, and I think that is an arc that you could really come to really enjoy more. Like it hit harder. It would just be interesting to see like current show writers, the way that shows are written today, tackle this show, even if it was just these 8 episodes. How wildly, even if they kept to the story without changing any story beats, but like changing the dialogue and kind of how the stories are paced, I think that payoff. I mean, I get the payoff with Andy doing it, and it's, oh, that's cool. Yeah, Andy fucked up and now he's good, but it could have been way more impressionable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there wasn't much of a build to it. It was just like point A and point B with no real road in between.
Right.
Yeah, totally get what you're going with there. So we head over to the Hayward household. Donna, James, and Maddie are listening to the cassette they liberated from Jacoby's office. We'd heard the first half of this one before, up until she started talking about the mystery man, and then we hear the rest of it. This is basically Laura talking about her sexual relationship with Leo. They don't, like, the kids don't know that she's talking about Leo at this point, but the audience does. She implies that a couple of times he's tried to kill her, but she was kind of into it. I mean, we know there's bondage going on, but I mean, we don't know how far they're taking this. Doc interrupts right as the tape wraps up to let Donna know he's got an emergency at the hospital. James seems to think that the tape puts Jacoby in the clear, but Donna is still rightfully leery because of the necklace. What's that all about?
Oh, I did forget to say, when it revealed Andy as the shooter, I put, "Oh, Andy." Anyway, sigh. Yes, at this end of this scene, I put Laura is an awful person. And then this is my breakdown of what the show is. This show is about and is for perverts. And that's just it. That's what I just put. I just said, wow, this is just some fucking perverted shit, and it's just yeah.
I mean,
like, it's funny also, he's like not very heartbroken about it, but James is like, oh, I knew. I'm just good to hear it. It's just like, what?
It does, yeah. He seems to kind of like, I mean, and I don't think he would blow it off that easily if he and Donna weren't together.
I'm glad I'm not a pervert. I don't know. It seems weird. It was such a weird, and then he's sorry that that her cousin had to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and she's heartbroken about it. But like, if you really love this girl and you felt, wouldn't you'd still feel a certain way about that? It seems so. She's an awful person. I don't.
Hey, maybe he's
It's
just
weird.
putting up a front here.
Maybe.
Because yeah, I mean, the deeper you get into the series, it's like it's it's not just Laura's not just one thing or another. You know, like yeah, she was doing blow, but she also
But
pioneered the Meals
don't
on
you
Wheels
feel
program in Twin Peaks.
there's a little bit of that feeling like they're just writing like just they're on the cusp of the edge. They're just like, let's just fucking do this.
I
Like,
really well like one of those running themes with David Lynch's work is that things are just not always what they seem. Like what's underneath this facade of everything's cool, everything's fine, everything's happy. And that's the face that Laura portrays to the world as everything's cool, everything's fine, everything's happy. I'm a good student. I help the disadvantaged people in the community, and everybody likes me, and that's what all the good people in the town see. And then the people who aren't all good, like Bobby, like Leo, like Jacoby, they see the other side of Laura
wait,
because
you're
Laura's
saying
not all
Jacoby's
good.
not good? He's not trying to
I'm
help
saying he's not
people.
all good.
He's pretty gnarly.
He's, there's lots of shades of gray on this show. There are very few people who are fully on one side or the other.
I think it's
Cooper
shades of
being
I
one
think
of
it's
the few
shades
of
of
them.
pink and mauve. Really, I don't. It's just like.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely the cinematography choice. But pink and mauve are never all red or all white,
This is true.
right?
Yeah.
Lots of blend in between those two. Twilight at the Sawmill. Old Leo is setting up his prepaid arson gig, which he decided Shelley is going to be a victim of as well. He's made sure to let Shelley know that he's going to go off Bobby as well before leaving on this. This seemed like a weird punch up to me as well that came in post production when he just leaves her and you, bro.
Oh, I know. That he leaves, and then you just hear the dialogue of him saying that. It's like, oh my god! Like, obviously he couldn't nail it. He couldn't nail it in the scene. But he just it's it's so silly. It's just so corny the way he delivers. Is like, oh yeah, let's go, Leo.
Reading of that line, yeah,
But I like
just
whatever. I was like whatever,
wherever it came from.
whatever. But it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I laughed. I mean, I literally I was laughing when he
Oh yeah.
like this guy is so insecure. Holy fuck. Anyway,
I kind of wonder what Leo's origin story is.
shit,
We never
man.
really get a background on him, like what turned him into the piece of shit that he is. Who cares? It's weird about how everybody's obsessed with like supervillain origin stories these days, but I wonder if we'll ever get one for old Leo Johnson.
Probably not.
Probably not. We're off to the Hurley household. Nadine has donned her Sunday best dress and spreads out a blanket. Is it an indoor picnic? Oh,
It
not
sure
judging by
is.
the
It sure is
not
an indoor
well
picnic.
happy picnic. I really should have prefaced this with the trigger warning. We do see a suicide attempt here in this episode.
Let me just trigger that
I mean, we don't actually see it.
with my comment.
But,
Oh, Nadine.
Dean,
That's what I have here.
sigh.
I just like everyone's like, are we literally everyone's making these moves right now? Like these are the moves we're doing. Anyway,
We're running. I
it
just
was
want to
way
make a
chiller
quick
than I
note.
thought it would be, though, Gabe.
The music that they have that accompanies this scene is very strange. It seems almost optimistic for a scene of this nature. And if I'm not mistaken, it's like one of maybe two or three times, if not the only time, that we get this music in a scene.
Interesting.
That we
I
don't
didn't
get
catch
like,
that. I didn't catch that.
I mean, generally when we get a scene of any kind of emotional weight, we get, the theme music in the background. If not the main theme, then Laura's theme. But this is one of those few occasions where we get something entirely different, and it's a very different piece of music from what we generally hear in the rest of the series. So I'd encourage going back and giving that one another listen, just to see if it might crop up again at some point or another. After Nadine's sad goodbye,
She doesn't
we're
really
off
do
to the
anything,
Blue Pine
actually.
Lodge.
It's really just pouring water, pouring pills, and then it cuts. Like, it moves.
We don't see the
We don't
actual
actually
action,
see it. Yeah, there's no,
which
like...
I'm sure, censors wouldn't have allowed it either way.
She's making
I'm
cereal,
sure that was...
kids.
Yeah.
Eating some good and plenty, that's all.
Yeah. Blue Pine Lodge. We get to see Hank counting a big briefcase of money. We finally get some big time exposition on what is going down between him and Josie. Turns out Hank arranged the murder of Andrew Packard at Josie's behest, and then ran some random guy over to put himself in prison in order to avoid suspicion. Intrigue.
Is this what you have for that scene? Because this is what
That's
I have.
That's not all I have.
This is what okay, what are your comments for that? You have comments for this scene?
Basically that he uses a whole lot of words to try and squeeze Josie for more money. I do have a note later on, because this isn't Hank's only scenery chewing scene. I think he gets more dialogue than
he gets
Cooper
a lot
does
of. He has
episode.
A lot of scenes in this episode. Yeah,
he gets more talking time than just about anybody, and this scene is the biggest part of it.
So my comments on this one was he's blah 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 blah. Oriental philosophy is a big one that I was like,
yeah,
woo,
yeah,
cool. That's a word we don't hear about anymore. And then I like the framing on, and you actually posted a photo on the Facebook, but it basically frames him with horns on his head as if he's the devil, and that she had made a deal with the devil, basically, in a sense, So I like the framing of that. And then I do, oh, Josie, but with the preface, she's also a pervert, because he does they do the holding hands, they cut the thumbs and the bleed, and he sucks it and walks away. But then she's like,
yeah, she paints her
weird,
lips with her own blood.
Does she want him? I mean, she doesn't want him, but she's kind of turned on by him. I think there's a point. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Pervert. This show's for perverts, so let's be a pervert. I think
that was another thing that was a point of discussion between my brother and I for years and years after the fact. It was just something we never understood. Again, as children, we had even less of an understanding of something of that nature.
You like bad boys. You like bad boys.
Weird,
right? She's with a good boy. I mean, she's with Harry. He's a good boy. But that bad boy thing, she's into it, and she's contemplating it with the thumb.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
You have no idea.
Oh, it's gonna get. So I'm right. The writing's on the wall.
We do eventually get a history for Josie.
I mean, she made this deal, so obviously she's not a good person.
Obviously not. But we do understand her motivations later.
All right.
And that's getting ahead of the fact.
Floated across on a raft, escaped asylum from communism, all kinds of stuff like that.
Right. She married into money and murdered to inherit it. Maybe Catherine's not so wrong for hating this woman after all.
But she's as smart as Catherine.
Is she?
I don't know, but she must be. I mean, she's on the level. She's pretty clever. She's pretty clever.
She's demonstrated some cleverness here, but
I mean, Catherine going back to. I mean, we're gonna go the next scene or some scene is going back to. Catherine goes back to Pete, and so my scene on that one was like, oh, Pete. Anyway, continue on, my friend.
Pete's another one of those people who's one of the rare ones who doesn't ever seem to be a bad person. Little silly, little naive at times, but a genuinely good dude. Anyway, Hank lets his demands go for now, but continues to intimidate Josie with the blood sibling ritual.
I don't think she's intimidated. I think she turned it on. I think it turned her on.
I don't know. I think she was...
I think she wants it.
I don't know. I think she was a little shaken,
Mm.
but I could be misreading that based on
I think she's
years
just
of
calculating how to play it.
predisposition.
I mean, you've seen the next season. I don't know. Maybe they don't. They never even see each other ever again. That could be a thing that like TV does too. I don't know. I haven't. You know.
I think Josie plays it cool, but I think there's a lot more fear involved in her decision-making process than people realize at this point. And maybe I'm giving away a little too much there. Because as we've established, Josie is not a good person, and I'm not making excuses for her. But there are reasons why she's not a good person.
But she's surviving. She's making decisions to survive.
She is a survivor.
That's what they're trying to portray, I think. Ultimately, with all comedy and perversion aside, I feel like she's surviving. She's trying to survive. She knows how, to
right.
Yeah,
that's
what
she knows.
That's kind of what I feel like. It's kind of a cliche, but it's like I think that's kind of what this character is. And okay,
yeah, good take.
I like the idea that she's more of a pervert. I think that's fun, but I don't think that's really what it is.
We'll see. We're off to the mill where Catherine is tearing up an office looking for the missing ledger. A couple of the grunt workers alert Pete to her funny behavior. I kind of enjoyed this weird little sitcom moment that we got with Pete shutting the blinds.
It is a weird scene. Like the same two guys just keep moving. Drama. Like, why do they care? I don't know why they care, but they keep moving to each window.
This is very much like 60s sitcom levity.
It kind of also feels like just a random that probably wasn't in the script. Frost was just like, just keep moving to the windows that are open. Like it seems like a last minute directorial. Then you guys move as you guys talk in this dialogue sequence. Just keep moving around the room.
It does kind of seem like on the fly blocking in a way.
Right. It just.
But if so, man, I love it. It added a very human.
It is funny.
To it. I thought it was amusing, and it's another element of tone setting. Where this is one of those kind of uplifting scenes.
It also gives them something to do instead of just standing there and talking. Like it gives them kind of while they're talking, they kind of move.
Yeah,
from one.
That's a hard thing to do to find something natural,
right?
Kind of natural movement to keep things. I read something today about keeping your exposition in motion. When Cameron does exposition, it's like during a car ride, or westerns have their exposition on horseback. So that's something you can do while you're.
But this seems interesting too because it's not just exposition; it's also partly. I wrote this.
It's a big character development scene.
Well,
it's a history.
It's partially that. I wrote this later in the episode, but I'll say this. I'll say this note. Now, there's a lot of old relationships that are kind of rekindled in a way in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of interesting. Obviously, Catherine and Pete. There's another one later that we'll talk about. There's another one that I'm forgetting right now, but there's these kind of relationships that are Nadine. Well, we haven't got back to the scene where Ed finds Nadine, but Ed and Nadine.
I know the two you're talking
about. It's like, does he really care for her? It's kind of rekindling. I don't know, but it just seems like there's more caregiving to these old relationships, right? In this episode, trying to even if they're not working, obviously the Catherine and Pete thing. You get the feeling that obviously Catherine's probably playing him a bit, but Pete falls for it in this in this sequence in the office. He hugs her in a very awkward way.
And on original viewings, totally felt like Catherine was just playing him the whole time. This viewing, with age and with maturity, this felt more genuine.
Well, I felt it was genuine in this scene.
Yeah.
But I felt like there's a scene later that I felt like Yeah, she's kind of
the
playing
only
him.
thing that reduces it is at the end when he gives her the big hug, and she's kind of like. But I feel like everything that led up to that moment, I think, came from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, especially watching it now.
But I guess I'm talking about
Like
the
I do feel
scene
like
when they go back to the lodge or whatever, and they're looking, and he comes across his
when she
yearbook.
chases him
I feel
back
like
out. Yeah,
then it kind of feels like she is kind
yeah.
of
The
being
moment has come and gone at that
right,
point.
right. I feel
Yeah,
like I could go along with in the
and
room in
I
the
agree.
office. In the office, I can be like,
In this
it was a
particular
goofy,
moment,
it was a goofy hug, and she kind of looked
yeah.
weird about it. But I like,
But
whatever.
the speech she gave,
Right.
even if it was from a place of desperation, there
Right.
was still like you could tell there was genuine affection for him there. Which I didn't, I felt like, oh, this is all crap. Growing up, I'm like, no, she's playing him. She's totally playing him. She's just, tugging on his heartstrings to get what she wants. But now in this time with, all my hindsight, it really feels more genuine for Catherine.
Honestly,
I am far more sympathetic to
yeah.
Catherine on this viewing than I have ever been at any point in my history
I
of,
just think
of
his
watching this
floppy
show.
hug is the weak point in it. I think as a director, I would have asked them to hug in a more affirming way.
That
And
wouldn't
I
have
would,
been true to his character,
no,
though.
I maybe, but I just felt like it would have carried it better. I just feel like when he does that in a goofy way, and then her look, I just feel like if he hugged her, at least
I thought her reaction was a little over the top for that.
maybe,
If
and maybe
she'd have
that's
toned it
why.
down a little bit, I think if she'd have toned it down a little bit, it would have continued as a genuine moment.
Maybe
But
I
I
just feel
think
like he's so weak in that. Like
of
he
course
just
he is.
he
That's
bends
Pete.
over, but yeah, but that's so weak in that moment. Like he's weak already because he comes to her, that he should still just hug her as a normal human being, and then she can be
Well,
however I don't know. I would have like played with that more a little bit, but whatever.
regardless,
That's my
we get to
choice.
see later on that Pete is not necessarily a weak guy.
I think, yeah, I don't think Pete is a weak guy. I think Pete is probably the killer. No. But he's kind of he's odd. He's aloof.
He's an
And
odd guy.
yeah.
He
Anyway,
is. He's unique,
but
which is tough to do in this town.
I do believe Catherine. I mean, I fell for Catherine's speech in that office. Like I felt like she was being truthful there, and then it just I don't know.
Yeah, no, she's desperate. She'll take help from wherever she
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it means appealing to a nature she tried to suppress.
And I like them sharing about themselves and their old. I enjoyed that scene
Yeah,
actually. I
I did
mean,
too.
I thought
I really feel like that was one of the better scenes of this
I
episode.
just felt like the hug was kind of goofy and limp. I wish
Yeah,
it was a more
it would
affirming.
overall. Yeah, overall it didn't fit, but yeah, I don't think it detracted too much from the scene. So we're into the sheriff's station now, where Hawk is regaling the boys with tales of Andy's heroism, while an impressed Lucy eavesdrops as she waters the plants. Lucy and Andy catch each other's eye, and Hawk encourages Andy to go get it.
Which makes me think, like, was this planned? Like
Like, were
they doing
maybe,
it just
maybe?
because of that? Like it seems it's such a weird sequence because like first of all, I mean it's fine at first, but the fact that Hawk goes, go get her basically, it's just like, wait, did you guys plan? Was this like a
Maybe a little bit.
I don't know, it's weird.
I think it's okay. I think that's fine. I can see Annie's like, hey, can you tell the story where Lucy can hear it and maybe help me out here?
Mm-hmm.
Hawk would 100% have Andy's back in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally see that being, maybe it was planned, but if so, who gives a shit? It was still a good scene.
Prelude to these old donut boxes still hanging out in the coffee making area. Hey,
maybe they're new donut. Well, no,
I don't think they are. I think they've just been sitting there forever long fucking time. But I'm just, hey,
I mean,
not
not for the 3 weeks that we've been dragging this out. It's just been one night for them. It's been 3 weeks for us. But anyway, Andy and Lucy share a sweet private moment in the break room before Lucy hits Andy with the bombshell.
Oh, shit!
He's pregnant. A shell-shocked Andy makes his exit as the boys look on with a touch of pity.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
My comment was, I put, oh shit, pregnant, and Andy is not happy. So I gotta ask, not Andy's?
I don't know if Andy's unhappy as
he
as
walks
much as he's
away and she
overwhelmed.
leaves and I don't know, man. I mean, you've seen it all, but like
I think
my initial thought was he's not happy. He has no kind of like, he looks upset.
Well, let's
he leaves and walks away down the dark hall. She comes out looking upset, and I'm like, and if you look back at the episodes where she's on the phone and the doctor and she's all stressed out about it.
Mm-hmm. Like she's not happy that she's pregnant either.
It's not Andy's.
And
that's the only solution. But they're gonna change that. But I gotta think in that moment, it wasn't Andy's. That's what I'm gonna go with. They're gonna fix it. They're gonna change it. I think they're gonna change it.
I'm not sure how you extrapolate that just from that scene. I mean, I think any boyfriend,
you would still be supportive. You would still be supportive, Gabe. You would not just walk away from that person and like an asshole. Like,
well, look, there could have been a lot said between the moment that she told him she was pregnant and the moment he actually opened that door.
Wouldn't it know exactly would it make for better TV if it wasn't his?
I guess we'll just have to wait until next season to find out, won't we?
Well, it's probably his because they're just gonna like fucking write that out. But I would say that like the way they handled this situation, in not a celebratory way, like who
that it leaves you
who does that? Who does that? Even if you're not into it, you don't treat the person that you. If you're a guy, you didn't want to knock a woman up, but you do. I don't think you like just say fuck off and you walk away. I think you're like, oh, okay, awesome. Hey, I think you pretend and you lie. That's what you do. You do the white lies. But to just like be pissed off, walk out the room, and then I don't know. I feel like that's a different setup.
Pissed off was the look. I think
it's pretty pissed off.
It's the look.
Overwhelmed, sure, overwhelmed, pissed off. But I don't think there's a way to be overwhelmed in a life and to
see
if this is a woman you love, you don't walk out on her like that. And I feel like
this is that Andy has the mentality of a teenager here.
Like
the approach, the relationship I see with Andy and Lucy is like a pair of teenagers in high school. Like that's the mentality they're having. And if a 16-year-old girlfriend tells her 16-year-old boyfriend, "I'm pregnant," his first reaction is not going to be a supportive one. It's going to be an, "Oh my God, what the fuck am I going to do?"
I guess, but
that's
we watch this. You look at this. They are not 16 years old though.
They're not. No, but mentally they are.
I guess.
When you look at the way they talk to each other, when you look at the way that they interact, it's very much like a puppy love kind of thing.
That's why I mean she's probably, if it's a puppy love thing, it's fresh, and she's probably fucking other dudes, and she got knocked up by some other dude. Like that's where I would go with this.
I'm not sure how you leap immediately to infidelity from this, but
because you know what? Here's how I leap to infidelity. There was never really any like inclination that they were really together. Like they're kind of together. Like, oh, they're kind of seeing each other, but they're never really. There's never been any scenes where they're like at the cafe hanging out.
I mean, he's got a pet name for her at this point, so they have to have been seeing each other.
You can have a pet name for anybody, like. You know,
you don't call someone punky if you've only been dating them for a week or two.
Sure you can. Maybe she loves Punky Brewster, and you walk in, it's like, ha, you like Punky Brewster, Punky, and then it's done. A nickname is, you cannot define a relationship on a nickname. Come on, Gabe.
Yeah. Anyway,
I feel. I mean, you're fighting for this pretty hardcore, so I imagine they end up together and it's his. But I, as a writer, I would be like, I would have taken this as maybe it's not his. That's what I would have gone.
I'm
maybe
not
I'm an awful
necessarily saying I'm
person
fighting for it. I'm just not understanding like why you make that assumption based on what you've seen.
because the way that when he takes that information, I mean, I know he's not a teenager, but he's old. He has a job. He just killed a man. I mean,
He didn't kill him.
Okay, he didn't kill him, but he did.
He shot him.
He shot
in
him.
the shoulder.
He
shot
man.
him precisely
Yes.
enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I get what you're saying. It seems like an immature response.
Disagree.
But I would say like
I disagree with this. All of it. If it is what it is, I just disagree with how it's handled. David Lynch. Does David Lynch have kids?
Yes, he does.
Wow.
He has a daughter.
You must have handled that
his daughter
poorly.
wrote some supplemental material for the show. She wrote The Secret Diary of Laura Palmer when she was 21 years old.
Interesting.
Which my brother bought a copy of when he was 12, a few years after the series ended. And if you thought there was graphic shit in the TV show, holy shit, dude. I'll see if I can't find a copy of that somewhere so we can go over some passages of that for a future show.
That's funny. All right.
It's and this was Jennifer Lynch writing like from Laura's writing as Laura. It was.
Anyway,
yes.
I'm just gonna say
a daughter.
that
She's very much like her.
I believe that's what I would like to believe. I get that they can rewrite anything, but I felt like the way he stormed out of that room, he was upset, not scared, but he was upset. That's how I felt that portrayal was. In that instance, that's what I felt. So. But
so my particular story for this scene, and I don't know if you were able to hear this because it's very, very low in the audio mix, and I had to crank it up way on my DVD. But when my brother and I initially watched this show, as Andy walks out and walks past Ed and Hawk, you can actually hear Hawk say, "Uh-oh."
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, I heard that.
You can hear that? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear that.
So, uh-oh, and then fresh coffee.
Yeah, she says fresh coffee. Right.
He's just that. Yeah, that reaction from Hawk was the source of endless amusement for me and my brother for many years. That was one of our favorite parts of that. Was just Hawk's very subdued reaction to whatever news Andy got. Clearly, it wasn't happy news, but. And where are we from here? Okay, yeah. Lucy is back at her desk, receiving a call from Bobby, who's pretending to be Leo, telling them to check out James. He's an easy rider. Bobby's fake tough guy voice. Oh my God. Might have been his worst moment of the series.
At first, I was like, why the fuck is he doing that? And then I was like, oh, no shit. It's because of the drugs that Bobby put in his fucking motorcycle. At first I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no, this is him framing James.
Yeah. So lame.
Yeah. Anyway, we finally get to an interesting scene here. We're in Jacques' hospital bed where he's being interrogated by Harry and Cooper. He confirms the girls and Leo were at his cabin the night of the murder, but he claims that he passed out after Leo hit him with a whiskey bottle, and he woke up to an empty house.
This is my favorite shot. So you have the two guys standing together, and then they're shooting through them into Jacques. So Jacques is framed with the two guys' body in a kind of
the over the shoulder perspective.
No, through their bodies. So Jacques is like
oh yeah, no, it's below the shoulder.
Below. It's
right.
Like it's like at Jacques' level, and then the two guys are kind of framing it so their bodies. And this is actually my favorite shot. Like that's a cool shot. I like that shot. I would have done that shot. That's the shot I would have done. I like that shot. I don't know.
So what makes it cool? Out of curiosity,
I like framed masked shots. So anytime you take people or you take objects and you mask them or frame them, so you don't see anything but, because it forces you to look at just that one thing. You're not looking at anything else in the sequence. You know, you just have these two bodies that are dark, so you can't really see. They take up most of the frame, really. So like it'd be like if I put my two hands by your face, I'd only see your face. There's something about it that I like that. It's like you're peeking in to their interrogation. You're not supposed to be there, but you're sneaking in. It gives this kind of like,
it makes you feel like you're in the room with
right,
them.
but you're not supposed to be. You're kind of, and it's not a difficult scene. It's not a difficult shot to pull off or anything, but it's just like there's more thought to it a little bit than just having a shot of just a close up on Jacques. Someone decided like, let's do this. Let's do this, and I like that. I like shooting through something. I've always it's like Kubrick. Really, Kubrick is always when I as a filmmaker, as a big Kubrick fan, Kubrick loves shooting through things, and when I think about that, I like this is a very Kubrick shot. I mean, there's no movement in the shot. Like Kubrick would probably have some movement going on, but or Kurosawa like to shoot through things. So like shooting through these two guys, like between them, it's just like it's not a shot that you normally get, because TV is very like shoot the face. It's not.
Yeah.
So
it's one of those shots that puts you into the moment.
Right, you're in there. You're there.
Yeah.
You're not like just watching a TV show, but you feel like you're an active viewer versus just a viewer. And that's something I enjoy and I appreciate. And so, a lot of the times these episodes are just talking heads or medium shots, and it's not that exciting, but like when you create, it creates depth too. So you're in this ground, there's the middle ground, and then there's the background. So you're in the foreground. And there's like layers,
Yeah.
There's just
adds that third dimension to it.
And that's a cool way of storytelling, and that's what I appreciate. It's a simple shot. I'm gonna be honest. It's a very fucking simple shot. It doesn't take a lot to do.
No,
but
it adds a lot.
But the thought of doing it adds a lot to the storytelling. Because they could easily have just done a close up on Jacques and called it good.
Yeah.
But there's something about what they're doing, because they're interrogating him. And you're in that kind of conversation, but you're not supposed to be. Anyway, that's what that does for me and what I enjoy about that shot. So
gotcha. I like that. That makes a lot of sense. The viewer versus active viewer.
Right.
Yeah. One other thing from this scene, Jacques also confirms that the Flesh World advertisements were Laura's idea. So,
right.
Tying back to
pervy
Laura's
Laura.
pervert. Doc Hayward updates the police on Jacoby's condition. He has survived his heart attack, but he seems to be spouting gibberish because he claims he saw Laura by the gazebo in Easter Park.
So clearly Forrest Gump knew he was having a heart attack and decided to just back off.
Right. Recognized that he was going to die anyway, so I guess I don't need to bash his brains in. Although he didn't die, he survived the heart attack.
So it must be the doctor, because who else could tell that you were having a heart attack?
So Doc Hayward is Forrest Gump? That's what you're suggesting now?
I gotta do something, man.
The guy wandering around with a cane all the time?
Gotta throw him out there.
It's a front, like Kaiser Sose.
Yeah.
In the library at the Packard house, Catherine is continuing to frantically toss books to and fro, while Pete waxes nostalgic over old high school flames.
Mage, was it?
Midge.
That's right, Midge.
Midge. That's a very 50s name right there.
He had the hots for her, though.
He did. I wonder what the picture looked like. Catherine chases Pete out of the room, and she receives a mystery call from a mystery man, who we can see as Hank, telling her to find exactly what she's looking for at the shed and the sawmill that Leo set up to blow up or down, whatever.
how's it going, Catherine? If you could go to this place so I could kill
Yeah.
you in the fire, that'd be awesome. It's like, okay,
Here's
I'll
one of those
go.
plot points that would be totally eliminated with caller ID or cell phones or, mystery caller is just not something that you can
It's
use to
so
move a plot
funny. It's so
forward
funny.
anymore.
It's so funny.
Oh man, and it was such a trope in like murder mysteries too, wasn't it?
I think it's
Like the
funny too.
mysterious phone call from the stranger that you don't recognize. It's just like
I did.
how frequently did you see that in that
I
sort of
found it weird that she waves Pete out of the room because there's nothing really that. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of like, what do you want? But it's like,
she just doesn't want the distraction or she
I don't
doesn't
know.
want
It just seems he's not really paying attention anyway. I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, Pete, you fucking imbecile, get out of this room.
Yeah. Catherine just turning on her business face and being all like, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, she grabs her gun out of the false bottom drawer and heads out.
You know what I thought too?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. There's something funny about this. I mean, it's not funny, but like she opens the drawer, pulls it out, opens it up, and then flips about. It's like, did she know how to do that, or did the person the prop person like teach her how to flip it closed again? Like, you know what I mean? Like she just knows how to kill people. Like I don't know. For some reason in my head I thought,
like why is Catherine proficient in firearms?
I get it. She opens it and looks at it, but then the way she flips it open, like flips it closed, like John Wick, is like, like, yeah, okay,
professional, yeah,
professional. She Hitman too? I don't know. I thought it was funny.
Hey man,
it's fine.
People in the timber business,
Yeah, I mean Pacific Northwest. Your parents grew up with guns. I get it. There's something about it
being like outdoorsy. Yeah, but yeah, being like that's definitely like that's how a cop would check a gun for.
But for some reason, I still think of them as like Hollywood actors in this show for some reason because. So I just like thought it was funny that like the way she just like and how well it was like. I wonder if they shot that a few times. Like get it. Yeah, fucking do it.
I guess there's outtakes with bullets falling out of the chamber.
It was just funny to me for some reason. I don't know why. I found that funny.
It would be pretty funny, yeah. We're headed to the Double R Diner now, where Hank gives his second big speech of the episode. This one's all about false modesty and changing his ways.
Hashtag. Oh, Norma.
Right. She seems pretty gullible for the tough woman that she is.
She looks so good looking.
Hank manages to. Oh, she is.
She's. I don't know how you 12-year-olds survived this episode, man. I would have been spent and would have had to smoke a cigarette, tap out halfway through. But no, she looked great in this scene.
Oh, dude. She looks great in every scene, but this one in particular, yeah. Anyway, Hank manages to steal a kiss from her, and he seems to be winning her over with his fake sincerity. I don't know. For her sake, I hope not.
That's why it's all Norma. It's like, oh, Norma. It's like everyone's
Norma.
Everyone's just making these like poor choices. I mean, I get it. It's the finale, and we're playing chess. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, pieces are just moving. We're not in the end game anywhere near that yet. Ed arrives home to find Nadine after her suicide attempt. I really don't know what else to say about this scene other than even at 12 years old, I thought this was fucking terrible acting.
It's weird. The way he's like Everett caressing McGill. Her hair and shit, and the way
for me, it was just his completely expressionless face.
Right?
Like his expression does not change throughout the whole scene. Even if, he does seem, his movements seem a little panicked. Like when he realizes what's going on, like he starts to move faster, he dials the phone quickly, but his tone of voice, the expression of his face, it all just part of it seemed like
she does this all the time. Like, oh, here she goes again. It's like she's
I don't know.
Killing. I don't know.
She took it a little farther than she usually did.
I don't know. It is,
but it just to me, like I saw this scene, I'm like, he really doesn't seem like he actually cares. That's just what I thought as a kid. The first time I watched this scene, I'm like, that's the best he can do for his wife, who is
I guess I also
potentially
don't
dead.
understand why she went from. I don't understand why she's killing herself, though.
She really did seem to ramp it up, didn't she?
It just seems like, I don't know. It just seems like this is such a weird couple.
Yeah,
Lynch is just, or Frost, they're just like, oh, let's just like give them some shit to do. Like, it's just like,
this kind of feels like just a soap opera drama shoehorned in.
Yeah,
but you know,
well, let's get to the good
there's
stuff.
some of that in here.
Let's get to my two favorite actors acting together finally in a scene.
Oh, right. We're not quite there yet.
I know we're almost there, but I want to get to
we're
this.
almost there. We've got a quick flurry of activity at the sheriff's office. Harry and Cooper are returning. Lucy informs them of Bobby as Leo's phone call from about 10 minutes earlier. James arrives immediately afterward to ask to talk to Harry. Cooper takes James into the other room while Harry goes out to investigate the whole Easy Rider comment. On his way out, Harry runs into Leland, who's heard a rumor that the killer has been found.
Oh, Leland.
Harry correctly informs Leland that they've only arrested a suspect before he begs off and runs out. Doc Hayward attempts to convince Leland to head home to Sarah, but it's pretty clear that Leland has other plans.
Well, because the doctor's there, so he knows that something's going on at the hospital. It's like a clue that there's something at the hospital.
Hospital. Just like that gazebo line. Just the one word line of the location.
Rosebud.
Gazebo.
Rosebud.
Hospital.
Rosebud.
Amusement park. James surrenders the recording of Laura to Cooper, hoping to help out the case.
He doesn't surrender it. He gives it willingly. He's like, here.
That's what surrendering is.
Well, I think surrender is like, after pressure, give it.
Yeah, it's not under duress, but yeah, he's handing it over. He's there trying to help.
He's there to help, and then he's like, what the fuck have you done, stupid motherfucker?
Yeah, because the poor kid doesn't realize that Cooper already knows all of this. There's nothing on that tape that is going to surprise Cooper. He knows everything already. Cooper informs James about Jacoby's heart attack, letting him know that the poor kid has gotten himself way in over his head before he confronts him with the cocaine that Harry just found in the gas tank. Things are not looking good for James. We check in at the owner's office at One-Eyed Jack's, where the Scandinavian investors are finally signing the Ghostwood contract.
You first. No, you first. You before me. Me before me.
Me first.
Me first. Anyway, awful.
Me first. Silly, but
silly.
Yeah.
Great.
Fun.
Great.
Benjamin takes a quick phone call from Hank, who lets him know that he's about to tie up a loose end named Leo. Said loose end is laying in wait at his own home, where Bobby arrives searching for Shelley. Dumbass Bobby tries to talk his way out of danger, but Leo's got none of that and instantly swings an axe at his head, screaming about how dead Shelley is. But before Leo can strike that killing blow and murder a teenager for fucking his wife, he's shot for the second time in 2 days.
But I don't understand is like, Leo was fucking other people.
Yeah, but why does he care?
Okay.
Right. Shelley broke his heart, man. This is the plight of the alpha male. If Leo lived today, he would be an Andrew Tate fan.
Gotcha.
Right? 100% would be an Andrew Tate listener. Anyway, yeah. Leo gets shot for the second time in 2 days. This time it's Hank, who has a much better aim. He's taken out through the front window. Bobby gets a quick peek at the shooter before he abandons Leo to his fate. I actually felt a small amount of pity for Leo I think this might be his most well acted scene with no words at all. Because you see him looking at the soap opera in the background, and the bad guy in that show getting shot in the exact same spot that Leo gets shot in. And I remember seeing like just that brief twitch of the eyebrows, that look of confusion in his eyes for just a second before he fades out, just like that complete, like he can't even fathom that he's
That's
losing.
A lot of credit.
I don't know. Maybe it is a lot of credit. Maybe it's a lot of hindsight, but that scene stuck with me. Like that scene is embedded in my brain. It's exactly the way I remember it. Like frame for frame, I know that scene, and it actually did make me like feel a little, just a touch sorry for Leo in that moment. Piece of shit that he is, because he never saw it coming.
Okay. I'll give it to you. It's not something I really caught on or glommed onto.
Yeah,
I get it.
It's a moment of pathos for a character that doesn't really deserve it.
Part of me's like, is he really dead? I don't know.
Guess we'll have to wait until next season to find out.
Exactly, right? That's kind of where I'm at.
Oh, Jesus, it's like the 8th time I've winked at the camera today. I got to stop doing that shit. All right. Here we go. Here's your favorite scene of the episode, right? We're at the mill where Shelley is struggling to free herself before arson time. Lucky for her, Catherine shows up trying to find the ledger.
Yeah, I just like it's interesting that these two actors who have not acted together at all exist in the show, but in very different areas.
Yeah, I think this is possibly the only time these characters ever cross paths in the entire show. Because, Catherine being the rich type, she's not going to be a regular at the Double R, right?
And there's never a time that they form a relationship or do something.
They don't travel in the same circles. They are completely opposite sides of town, but just, I can't understand what you're saying. You have a thing in your mouth. It's just one of the most, like, that was an odd choice. That sort of comic relief in this particular scene.
It's also weird, the bomb or the fire. Anyway,
yeah,
the way it works is.
Yeah, I know nothing about arson, so what do I know about how well it works?
Come on, Gabe.
But yeah, again, we get another demonstration from Catherine that she's not completely heartless because she frees Shelley before they attempt to
and they run off.
As the flaming building collapses around them. Smash cut to
But then Pete.
We'll get there. But first we get a smash cut to a gloved hand setting off the fire alarm in the hospital. Sending the guard and the nurse at Jacques' side running and leaving him unguarded.
So are you saying that Laura Palmer's dad abused her, and that's why she's so fucked up?
I didn't say anything.
Okay. But you alluded to the fact when I said that Laura Palmer was a fucked up pervert.
I did make mention of that, didn't I?
So are you saying that her dad is an awful, shitty person?
I'm not saying that directly. I'm just saying that sometimes...
You're assuming that.
I mean...
Does this come out?
I probably shouldn't.
Are we saying that her dad is the killer?
I probably shouldn't have said anything.
The dad's the killer. That's Gabe. Gabe just sucks at fucking poker. His whole tell he just gave me. He just told. Anyway, we're good. I have no idea. So that's a read that I'm taking off Gabe.
That's a read that you're taking. Anyway,
well, it's in there. It's in there with the other reads.
Things here. because we haven't revealed the gloved assailant yet, who
Are
promptly
you
smothers
saying that
the helpless
Mr.
Jacques
Palmer
with the pillow.
is Forrest Gimp?
Shit, I don't know, man.
Anyway, sorry.
Forrest Gimp. What is your obsession with Forrest Gimp? I don't understand why you're not letting that go.
It's a great character.
He's a great character. Never says
Yeah.
a word. Appears in one scene in 8 episodes.
Legend.
The legend
Harry.
of Forrest Gimp.
If there's anything I'm going to bring to this show, is Forrest Gimp.
It's Forrest. Anyway,
Sorry.
a helpless Jacques is smothered to death with a pillow. This reveal isn't really a surprise. It's Leland, who appears to have finally had his psychotic break. He does seem like a little aghast at what he's done before the stopping of the alarm just kind of like turns him off. But yeah, we're seeing a different side of Leland, maybe getting the impression that he's not all that we thought he was. Or he's more than we thought he was.
I mean, once he shows up at the police station, I knew that he was going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Just how he's just out of his mind.
Yeah, and like I said, that that reveal is not a surprise when we find out that it's Leland that killed Jacques. But this scene, again, going back to my first viewing, this was really harrowing. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm going to draw a comparison here between this scene and the scene from The Sopranos, in the episode where Tony chokes out the rat. Like, where you just kind of have to like watch that whole thing happen on screen. You didn't see shit like that in TV in this day and age. Like,
or where he chokes out Christopher.
I never saw that. I've never finished The Sopranos.
Oh my God! I apologize. I thought you knew.
I knew Christopher died. I didn't know it was Tony that killed him.
Oh shit!
Wow, that's heartbreaking.
They're in a car accident.
I've had a bunch of. Don't continue spoiling it for me.
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you how it is.
No,
I feel shitty. Okay, I feel shitty now. I felt you're talking about my favorite show of all time, and then like
I've watched.
I thought you knew it.
And I know most of it, but I never ended up finishing it.
You never finished it.
I didn't know. I thought about it because I liked what I saw.
All right. Anyway, continue on.
Anyway, we're going on. Where were we? Oh yeah, Leland.
The killing of
Leland. Yeah, but yeah, it was just like this. This is watching a murder from start to finish on television, and it was just you're watching him struggle. And again, this is like one of those things where like I'm a pretty empathetic person, so I'm actually feeling sorry for Jacques at this point, despite the fact that he's a piece of shit.
It's pretty great because he comes in and he tapes his arm.
Yeah.
And then everything is kind of hidden from you with the pillow and everything, but the one arm is like struggling. So you get all this action from the hand, and then the what do you call that machine?
The
AKG or whatever.
AKG.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that measures the pulse.
But yeah, so like you get the pillow, you get the hand, and you get the machine. But the hand is like that's the human element. That's the part that connects you to it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. Yeah, but again, it's a scene that like Jacques just completely helpless at this point, and yeah, I felt bad for the dude, even though he's so shitty. It was a scene that really bothered me then. It still bothers me now. It's hard to watch for me. Then we're back to the sawmill where warehouse number 3 is fully engulfed in flames. But that's not going to stop Pete from smashing down the door and going to find his wife, calling out her name.
She's my wife.
She's still my wife. charges into the fire as he calls out her name. Back at One-Eyed Jack's, Ben Horn is finally, at long last, signing his own name to the Ghostwood contract. Done deal, right? Right? He sends the Scandinavian off with a couple of hospitality girls before he has Blackie take him to visit the new girl.
Oof.
We get a quick shot of the moment of realization on Audrey's face before we dissolve back to the Great Northern. Before we get to
It's
Cooper,
interesting. It's interesting because he's like, "Close your eyes, darling,"
so fucking
and he has his
dude.
eyes closed, and she's watching this, and she's, and obviously this is a second scene or second season reveal, but it's just like.
But it was just, that is one of the slimiest moments of Ben Horn right there. When I was a kid, do you know who Ben Horn reminded me of?
No.
Was Chris Sarandon.
Chris Sarandon.
So you remember the old Fright Night? Like the early 80s vampire movie, Fright Night.
I never saw that.
Really? Oh, that's a fun one. But yeah,
I don't like horror movies.
Chris Sarandon also played the evil count in Princess Bride. Not the same.
I mean, I've seen Princess Bride.
The prince. The prince. Humperdinck.
The prince. Humperdinck. Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
That's Chris Sarandon.
All right.
But he's really good in Fright Night as a vampire. Really, really creepy. That's the vibe I got from Ben Horn in this scene. It was very predatory. Just, yeah, predatory is the best word.
He's being playful. It's weird.
It's
gross.
Playful in the way that a cat plays with a mouse.
Right.
Yeah, it is gross, and yeah, left me with a lot of anxiety for Audrey, for sure.
But I'm so interested in how Audrey's gonna handle it. I don't know.
I guess you'll have to wait until next season to find it.
Does everything pick up from this night?
Actually, it does.
Yeah, baby.
Pretty much, we get like same scenario we get here, where things pick up where they left off, and we're getting to our last scene of the day here. Dissolve back to Cooper at the Great Northern. He's on his way to bed.
Fuck Icelandic people.
Yeah. Oh, the relief on his face is palpable, isn't it? He's on his way to bed after a long and eventful evening. He's got the recorder out speaking to Diane, expressing his relief at the apparent departure of the Scandinavian contingent before telling her that he's going to turn in after enjoying some warm milk that he just ordered from room service.
Room service must be the greatest thing invented in the what did he say, 20th century or something?
Oh, I totally forgot that line. Yeah. When I was doing my second view through on the notes, I skipped that part.
That's fine.
Then yeah, but again,
I don't blame you, Gabe.
Yeah, I just made sure to note the room service part because that's kind of key here. As he enters the room, he sees a note from Audrey addressed to my special agent. He sets it down as he almost immediately receives a phone call from someone he doesn't appear to recognize and doesn't really seem to want to talk to, as he excuses himself to answer the knock at his door. As he puts down the receiver, we can clearly hear Andy taking over on the other end of the line, informing him that they've found Leo and that he's been shot. Cooper opens the door to find not room service, but a gun pointed directly at his abdomen. 3 shots and 1 thud later, we're rolling the credits on season 1. Cliffhanger.
My last note is, Cooper. Cooper got, but probably not. Like, I mean...
You don't think he died?
Spoilers! He's in the next episode, next season, and the end. So, like, and the movie.
And lots of other things. Yeah.
Yeah, so he must... You can go ahead and spoil this, Gabe.
Okay.
Was he wearing a vest?
He was, and you can see that in that one
Well,
shot.
you can see it in the shot because no blood comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
At
I kind
least
of like,
of
oh,
the
he's just
first two.
oh, he doesn't get hurt. Oh, okay.
We'll just have to wait and see.
I guess we'll have to wait.
But yeah, again, Barry and
I would
I.
have read that letter right away. I would have opened it and read it. It's funny how he just kind of looks at it and then puts it
I mean,
down.
I would have read it right away if I didn't know who it was from. But knowing that it was from
I would still
Audrey,
would have read it.
well, that's because you're.
He has a boner for her.
Everybody has a boner for her. Even Blackie has a boner for Audrey.
All I'm saying
Blackie has a later boner.
You would have read it. He would have read it
for Audrey.
I feel like he would have read it.
Just saying, you would have opened it first to check for nudies.
Nudies.
Yeah.
That's what we used to call them, kids. Now they're called selfies.
Nude selfie. That probably wouldn't have been a thing back in those days anyway, would it? Because she would have had to like take a week to get the film developed and shit.
Who would do that? Plus, people get to see that, and they're going to file it away. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So anyway,
I still would have opened it.
Who shot Cooper?
Who shot Cooper?
Yeah, instant reaction. Who shot Cooper? Who done it? Now we've got two mysteries.
You know, I don't know if I know who shot Cooper because there's multiple things going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who shot Cooper right now. I might have to like really like dissect the group of people.
Well, I will give you one hint. Not much of a hint, but I will tell you that it is someone that you've already been introduced to. Okay. It's not someone who's going to suddenly appear in season 2. If that's a concern of yours.
The person was short.
What makes you say that?
Well, just how low the gun was when the door opened.
Mm-hmm. Detective Ian is on the case, folks.
It probably doesn't matter. But yeah, I'd have to really think about it for a minute.
So what is your take on a cliffhanger of this nature ending season 1? Good thing or bad thing?
It's funny how they kind of zeroed out all the relationships.
This isn't necessarily the only.
They gave us a decent amount of information.
There are a lot of plot threads left dangling at the end of this episode, but this by far is the biggest one.
Oh, yeah. Gave us a lot of information, but they killed people. They killed Jacques. Jacoby's in rehab at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could see. The funny thing about Cooper is he hasn't made a lot of enemies.
Mm-hmm. What would their reason for shooting Cooper be?
Right now, right?
Yeah.
So it's a tough one. He hasn't really fucked up with the sale of the property for the ghost town.
Yeah.
He hasn't really fucked up.
He hasn't
fucked any of that up yet.
Shit. He and Hank really haven't crossed paths at all. Hank's got no reason to go after him at this point.
It has to be a jealousy thing with Audrey, but Audrey doesn't have any other boyfriends. She's just kind of her own thing. Unless it was her.
Intrigue.
Because she didn't save him. But like, or he didn't save her. But like, we haven't seen the closure of that scene with her dad, so I can't.
Yeah, that kind of rules her out, doesn't it?
That kind of rules her out of that. And this is one of the officers. Like Harry's pissed off.
Oh,
Josie, maybe Josie.
Thought. What? Yeah, what
I'll go with
possible
Josie.
reason would
I'm gonna go
Harry
with
have?
Josie.
You're gonna go with Josie?
I'm gonna go with Josie.
Why Josie?
Well, she's with Harry, and Harry really likes Coop.
So
But
Josie
no,
shot
no, no, no,
Cooper.
no. But the shit that she's involved with, if Harry brings Coop along to investigate all that shit, it could be a problem.
Yeah.
So, and she's short. She's lower. I'm gonna go with. That's what I'm gonna go with. I mean, you could say Hank, but Hank was. I don't think that character that popped in the door. If you go back and watch that, the character was really short. Wasn't tall. Wasn't a tall person. I don't know if that matters at all, but I'm gonna go with Josie.
All right. So,
do what you do to survive.
Do what you do, even if it doesn't make sense.
And that's the other thing, right?
Not much of what she's done made sense, has it? I mean,
there's a lot of stuff in this show that doesn't make sense.
There's all kinds of stuff. We've only, and like I said, we've only been to the Red Room once, dude. That kind of surprises me. I didn't realize that in all of season 1, you only get that one scene with the red curtained room. I thought that had a much bigger presence in that first season, but.
And we're talking about the dream, or are we talking about the actual scene?
Cooper's dream sequence, yes.
Yeah, dream sequence. Yeah.
Or was it a dream? Who knows? All right, so let's get into some trivia here. As we mentioned earlier, this was the only episode that was directed by Mark Frost. However, it is worth noting that Frost directed all of the segments of Invitation to Love that were filmed.
But he probably did that in one day.
Yeah, it probably didn't take him long. Not much to learn from IMDb here.
What about the globes and the enemies?
Oh,
enemies.
Yes, we'll go back to that. Let's go back to the main page where we go to our nominations. So I did do some research on this earlier. We'll start with the Emmys because I have some info on this already. For season 1, okay, so pick a number. How many nominations for season 1?
6.
14.
Whoa!
Now, admittedly, a lot of those were technical categories. We had a couple for music, a couple for costume design, production design, stuff like that. But it was a fairly long list. So we'll go ahead and go over it now.
Can you vamp on this?
What's that?
I got to take a massive piss.
Go ahead. I'll
vamp on it. Just go.
Like I said, there's 14 of them. It'll take me a minute. So, gang, for 1990, Twin Peaks was nominated for Outstanding Main Title Theme Music by Angelo Badalamenti and David Lynch. Outstanding Music and Lyrics for the song Into the Night from episode number 5. Also, Angelo Badalamenti and David Lynch. Outstanding Music Composition for Dramatic Underscore. That is from episode 2, solely for Angelo Badalamenti. Outstanding Art Direction for a series. Patricia Norris and Leslie Morales were nominated for the pilot episode. Outstanding Directing in a Drama Series, pilot episode for David Lynch. Outstanding Drama Series for the production team, Frost Lynch, Greg Feenberg, and David J. Latt. We'll skip those until Ian gets back. Outstanding Sound Editing for a series for episode number 7. That's a long list of people. John A. Larson, Matt Selson, John Haney, Pat McCormick, Albert Edmund Lord III, Fred Cipriano, Bruce P. Michaels, and Laurie L. Eschler. Outstanding Writing in a Drama Series, episode 3 for Harley Payton. Outstanding writing in a drama series for The Pilot, Mark Frost and David Lynch. And acting nominations for lead actor, Kyle MacLachlan, lead actress, Piper Laurie, and supporting actress, Sherilyn Fenn. We had 2 wins among those nominees. Where are those wins?
Where are they?
Damn it. Here are the wins. The wins. Outstanding costume design, Patricia Norris won for The Pilot. Outstanding editing for a series, single camera production, was won by The Pilot for Dwayne Dunham. We covered that in our initial episode. So what you missed, I'll go back to that because these are the important ones. Twin Peaks was nominated for Outstanding Drama Series for the season. We got acting nods for Kyle MacLachlan as lead actor, Piper Laurie as a lead actor, and Sherilyn Fenn as a supporting actress.
But they all won for technical?
Those 2 wins I mentioned were the only winners.
Okay.
Lynch got a nomination for directing for The Pilot. There were 2 nominations for writing, one for The Pilot for Frost and Lynch, and one for Harley Payton for episode 3.
That's crazy. I don't even think The Pilot is the best.
Yeah, I would. If I were to pick a writing nomination, I would have picked the finale. To be honest with you, also for directing too. This one felt solid. This one felt like it hit every note from start to finish. It felt like it accomplished what it needed to in every aspect. So if you're interested, I did look up who they lost all of these awards to. The winner for Outstanding Drama Series that season was L.A. Law.
Oh, wow.
Kyle MacLachlan lost Best Leading Actor to Peter Falk for Columbo. The winner for Lead Actress in a Drama Series that year went to Patricia Wettig for 30-something. Sherilyn Fenn lost out to Marg Helgenberger for China Beach.
China Beach. Holy shit.
Writing went to David L. Kelly, or is that it? David Kelly. L. Kelly.
David E. L. Kelly?
I forget what that initial is, but yeah.
Anyway, David Kelly, yes.
Yeah, the Ally McBeal guy. He won for writing an episode of L.A. Law. What did directing go to? Directing went to something else I didn't remember. Something not memorable. Something that didn't have any longevity. Golden Globe nominations. Here we go. Oh, wow. So nominated Sherilyn Fenn for supporting actress. Winners, Piper Laurie for lead actress in a supporting role.
Oh, interesting.
Kyle MacLachlan for lead actor in a supporting or in a lead role. And winner for best television series drama.
That's the foreign press for you.
There you go. They love their Lynch. So yeah, big winner at the Golden Globes. I did not realize that. That's fascinating.
That's huge. That's pretty massive.
Oh,
that's crazy.
You know
then they pushed it.
Those are actually for 1991.
Oh, that's next year?
Those are for the next
season
2? It looks like, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wow, okay.
Because on season 1, they have it as 3 times. Oh, I guess that's just the series. 3-time Golden Globe winner.
I mean, well, it's weird because the Emmys say 1990 for the season 1 nominations. There are also 91 nominations for season 2. Not quite as many of them.
That's crazy that it would win for season 2 so many and then not be picked up again.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's wild.
I'll have to look into that because, it doesn't say 1992 for Golden Globes, and it doesn't have a 1990 for Golden Globes either. Interesting.
But it's collectively known that this season's better than the second.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that. The first half of season 2 has its moments, and once things start to wrap up and get back into Lynch's hands, there's some interesting stuff that happens in the back half.
But how do we feel about Mark versus David?
As far as like,
I mean, he seemed very capable in this season finale.
He did, yeah. But he didn't have much of a career in the director's chair after this.
No, but he's still the producer and the writer.
Like we did touch on the correction I made last week about how Mark Frost was not involved at all with the production of Fire Walk With Me.
But that movie wasn't that big of a hit.
But I don't know how that's relevant. But it does appear that there were still some...
I think it's kind of relevant.
But yeah, I mean, there were some hard feelings that appeared between Lynch and Frost once Lynch kind of got saddled with the lion's share of the work in season 2.
But don't you think that Frost understood the characters and felt this show more than Lynch ultimately?
Not necessarily.
Not the
important characters, no. Not the key characters.
I'm gonna be a Mark Frost apologist.
You might be, and I think Frost is like the driving force behind characters like Andy and characters like Bobby. But characters like Cooper and characters like Laura, that is almost 100% Lynch. I would guarantee it.
Yeah, but Cooper's dialed in.
Yeah.
And Laura's not much of a character.
Laura's more of a MacGuffin than a character at this point.
Let's not saddle Mark with Bobby or Leo. We're gonna give that to David. But
or the log.
I'll give Audrey. I'll give Audrey to Mark.
That's fair.
I don't know. Yeah. I just feel like
I don't know. I do know for a fact that Sherilyn Fenn and David Lynch had direct discussions about Audrey's character and about ideas for her.
Sure.
I'm going to touch base on those later at the end of the series.
But do we feel like it's not so much Mark and David's fault? Second season, it's more studio interference. It
is 100% studio interference.
So it's like
it is the network making demands of them and having expectations for the show that were never part of the original plans.
I feel like Frost could have probably brought it in, but it just wasn't going to happen.
The way, I mean, kind of the timeline, the way I see it is when they got season 2 rolling, the network has pretty much said, okay, you have to reveal the killer this season. And as we've mentioned before, Lynch and Frost never had any intention of revealing who the killer was. They were just going to perpetuate the mystery for the entire series and just kind of let people glean, make their own judgments based on the information they were given. But they were really forced into it. Like the network basically told them, look, we're not going to give you the money to make this show if you don't tell us what happens here. So I think once they realized that, they didn't really have creative control over this series, that's when Lynch lost interest. That's when he just stopped giving a shit. And that's when he's like, nope, I'm just going to put all of my energy into promoting Wild Heart. You do what you want. I'll bop in here and there to, offer my opinions, but as far as I'm concerned, this show is pretty much dead to me at this point. And I don't think Frost was ready to give it up. I think he thought they could salvage it from that point and still make a compelling series out of it and still probably get, maybe a third or fourth season. I don't think Lynch saw it that way.
Do you think it would have been as popular if they just gave up on it? Like season 1 was the only one that existed?
No, because there's plenty of stuff that happens in season 2 that helps to cement the legacy and helps to
which is mostly Frost.
No, mostly Lynch.
You think so?
Yes.
You don't think it has anything to do with Frost?
No, because most of it is the supernatural based stuff, and I think a lot of that was Lynch.
Okay. I guess we won't know until we interview them on our show.
Right? Yeah. We do have one small connection to a cast member.
Do we?
We do. One guy.
That's alive?
Yes. And I hesitate to even bring it up because it seems silly. It's so very tangential. But I used to work with a guy named Adam Robinson. I haven't seen him in many, many years, but we've kind of kept touch tangentially on Facebook. And he's actually good friends with Kimmy Robertson, who plays Lucy. And she lives in California, but they're close enough where like he's visited her home on multiple occasions. They hang out, they
That would
talk
blow
on
up
the
our show,
phone
dude.
all the time. So yeah, they're legitimately friends and they talk all the time. And I did see him tag her once when he shared, like he's been very, very good on Facebook about liking our posts. Adam, if you're listening, shout out. Love you, man. Thanks for supporting us.
Get us that interview, bruh. Get us that interview.
I wasn't going to try it. I'm not going to try and exploit that connection. Ian, you go.
You don't have to interview it, but like, I have no shame.
Hey, I would love to do it. I'd have fun doing it, but I'd
We
feel
would be most respectful.
We would be very respectful. But yeah, Adam, if you're watching, we do appreciate your support. And hook us up, brother.
We're just two dudes.
That's our Kevin
in the Pacific
Bacon,
Northwest.
That's our 4 degrees of separation to the legitimate cast members of Twin Peaks.
There you go. All right. But maybe we somehow through that it'd be fun. Here's the thing. Here's the fun. The journey to get to David Lynch, or at least Mark Frost. Dude, I would love to talk to Mark Frost.
I think Mark Frost might actually be a harder to get than David Lynch.
Maybe.
I could see David Lynch David Lynch famously doesn't like to offer any explanations. I mean, if we asked him we
don't have to have
explanations.
We'd
ask him stuff about the process. He'd love to discuss that, I'm sure.
I would love to talk process and what that time period was like, shooting that stuff, and what that show means to him. But I don't need to know what the show means.
Right.
Right. I'm an artist. I as an artist, I don't like to explain that shit either.
I hear you. So yeah.
Anywho, we have anything else?
No, that's pretty much all the trivia I had for this one.
God, we're going long again, Gabe.
Are we going? Oh, yeah, we topped 2 hours. Hey, this was a big episode. Lots going on this.
It was a big episode, but still.
I really don't feel like we went off on too many tangents today.
I didn't even realize. I thought it was like an hour, and now I look at, it's 2 hours.
But hey, yeah, we're wrapping up here. So let's hear some predictions for season 2. We've already got your whodunit predictions.
I mean, I think Josie shot him. We're gonna wake up. It's gonna open up at the lodge. Coop is gonna wake up from his shots. And maybe he's a little bloody, but he's fine.
So Coop survives.
I'm curious how the whole
who doesn't survive.
Audrey. Who doesn't survive?
Like whose life is in imminent danger right now?
I mean, aside from the people, I would hope that Leo is actually dead. But I could see that he's not.
Mm-hmm.
There's no one else who's dead.
We got a lot of people in a fire
but,
that we never see get out.
I mean, Pete's not going to be dead. And Catherine and Shelley escaped.
We didn't see them escape.
They left. They're gone.
Then why did Pete go chasing after them?
Because I don't know. That's all stupid shit. That's all stupid TV shit. And Catherine won a Golden Globe in 1990. So anyway. I would like Jacoby to die. I think that would be better. I don't know what we gain from him staying alive.
He does kind of seem to have served his purpose at this point, doesn't he?
Right. Obviously Jock's dead.
Yeah, Jacques dead for sure.
I guess the only person who we're curious about is if Leo's alive or dead.
Yeah. I guess so.
Nadine.
Oh, Nadine.
But she's probably going to be alive.
I mean, she did have a false
pump her
med
stomach.
founder, so we'll see.
She'll probably be alive. Ed and Nadine. I mean, come on. She seems like you can't kill her. So
we'll see where that arc goes.
It's a stupid character, but I imagine that she's going to be alive.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Is there anyone else I'm forgetting?
No, I think that's anybody that might have been in imminent peril.
All right.
Although we're not sure what became of James.
Do you have
just
opinions?
Spending the night in lockup with somebody else barking at him for a change? I mean, of course I have opinions because I fucking know what happens.
What were your opinions when you first watched this?
When I first watched it,
do you remember what you thought was gonna happen?
I mean, I just remember thinking there's no possible way Audrey could get out of that. I didn't have the first clue who shot Cooper. I thought it might be, somebody involved in the cocaine deal or somebody tied to Jacques. But I didn't, that was just a 12-year-old kid's musing based on what little information he'd had from the previous episodes. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me looking back on this. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that...
I mean, did you think Shelley and Catherine were dead?
I thought it was very possible. I mean, like I said, we never see either of them or Pete leave.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you don't see it, it hasn't happened.
I guess I'm so jaded.
You really are, man. You've got to understand.
But all this shit
35 years ago. How long this was? 35 years.
TV. They're fine, kids. Hey, listen, if you're upset by this, they'll be fine.
It's just, yeah. You got to have that.
It's just a banana in the tailpipe.
It's an element of perspective is all it is. Well, right. That's all I've got for this week. Anything else you want to touch base on before we call it a night?
I mean, we've been going at it, so yeah, we're good. I think I have nothing. I look forward to the 2-hour episode I have to schedule to watch next week.
Yeah, gonna be a chunk of time for that one. And I watch it twice. I watch every episode twice, so I don't know what you're complaining about. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I watch it once for just
shit.
like a watching. And then
you've seen it so many times.
Yeah. There's still, there's stuff I miss, or stuff I've forgotten that I'm reminded of that, I'm the same way with like books. I'll read books 2 or 3 times and still pick up on stuff that I didn't get the first time through.
Gotcha.
So I still have something, I still gain something by doing it, but I want to be able to like watch it like as a viewer just once before I do my pauses while I take my notes. And so I like to get the whole flow of the episode and kind of like make a mental map.
I can't help but take notes.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
just like,
I still like being able to watch,
this?
An unbroken episode.
But you love this show.
I do.
I'm coming as like a...
Yeah, no, this is strictly research for you.
It's not just research. It's like, it's just, whoa. Would I watch this? Ooh,
You know, it makes me
maybe.
kind of wonder, like, if TV and film critics do single viewings or double viewings for stuff they're watching.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
if they watch a movie once without interruption, and then do a second watch to take their notes and essentially write their
I think that
review.
depends. Because sometimes they get screeners,
Yeah,
and sometimes they get like to go view it, but they only have that one view. You know,
yeah.
they don't get to go back and watch it again.
Oh, we did want to talk about the ratings real quick. So the ratings actually trended upward for the finale, which they bumped onto a Wednesday instead of a Thursday so they could meet the end of the sweeps period in May. The
Mm,
episode aired May 23rd, 1990. The household
getting
rating was
close.
a 12.6 share. That equates to 18.7 million viewers.
That's pretty
It
good.
was really good. It ranked 23rd for the week, which was its third best weekly ranking for that season.
Huh.
So, yeah, despite the decline, viewership did pick up for the finale, although, from what I understand, a lot of viewers were expecting some sort of resolution instead of yet more questions, leaving them hanging.
It's funny nowadays. We're okay with that. We're kind of expecting the story to be drug out,
Especially if we know there's another season coming. Yeah.
but
We kind
I
of
could see
want
back
that.
then. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, stuff like this, it was event television, like Who Shot JR, which had only been,
Who's Jr.
that was from Dallas. Oh,
I know.
I think you're a film guy. I don't know how much TV history you know, but that's a big one.
I know that.
That's a big one.
I
Fucking
know that
everybody
film
knows
too.
that one. But yeah, I mean, you got to think that this is like, I think, less than 5 years removed from that. So
Right.
yeah,
And even then, a lot had changed.
yeah. Even then, there was a lot of difference, but a lot of that was, thanks to this series. So anyway, you folks only need to wait 1 week to get the answers to all these questions, whereas my 12-year-old self had to suffer for 5 months before getting some resolution to this.
5 months.
I know, right? That was a lifetime for a 12-year-old. It wasn't as bad as waiting for the next book in the Dark Tower series, though, I'll tell you that. Up until
When am I gonna see Hot Audrey
when are you going to see
again?
Hot
Like
Audrey?
that's as 12-year-old Gabe. When am I gonna see Hot Audrey
No, I
again?
told you, dude. When I was 12, I was a Shelley guy.
I know, but
Not that I disliked Audrey by any means, but
oh,
you know, I had a hierarchy, and Audrey was. I mean, it rotated, but I was just,
on this episode, she might have been one,
I got
but
a thing, I
generally,
got a thing for long curly hair, so that's why
I got you. I got
you
you.
know Shelley always appealed
Yeah,
to me in that regard. But like I said, ooh, Norma,
Norma is great.
magnificent.
Yeah,
So
if
yeah,
only she was working at the casino. Anyway,
all right. Anyway, now
um,
that we're done objectifying all the female members of the cast, I think we're going to call
two
it a night.
hours and yeah. I do wanna say really quick. Obviously the email address. We have the email address up here. blankasafart@gmail.com.
Whoop. Blankets of Heart
But
Pod.
have you noticed?
Okay.
Oh yeah, blankasafart@gmail.com. Sorry. Um,
Have I noticed?
we love. I know you said you really enjoyed the new logo and how it changed.
Hmm.
Did you notice that? Like, it's. I need to switch it.
What do you mean you need to switch it? Is there a typo or something that I missed?
No. It's on the show. It's brown text with green outline, not green text with brown outline.
Oh, did you have it backwards?
I have them backwards, and I was
Totally
like,
did not notice that.
I did not. I just like noticed it tonight. I was like watching the opening. I was like, oh shit, it's wrong. It's like fucking A, dude.
That's our attention to detail right there.
Anyway, so for the start of season 2, I will fix that.
There we go. Phase 2 will upgrade it.
Phase 3, technically.
Phase 3?
Because we... Oh,
the original. Yeah.
When we first started, the original...
So it'll be V3 of the logo.
It was blue. Yeah, it was different. Yeah. So
I'm just thinking that, like, moving into season 2 is phase 2 of the show.
Phase 2 of the show.
Phase 2
phase
of
3 of the graphics.
Cast, the podcast. So
we're trying to get better.
Yeah.
We're trying to... But I feel like the content is always going to be great.
Hey, I'm having a good time.
And if I said nothing, no one would have noticed. But I noticed tonight.
I'm glad you noticed. And I'm surprised you noticed before I did. So that's hilarious to me.
They are the actual mountains from the sign.
Are they? You clipped them out from that?
I took this sign and I cut them out. So they're from the actual Twin Peaks mountain sign.
I'm so impressed. That's awesome.
Yeah, but I'll fix it. I apologize.
Yeah, we'll get that upgraded and get that dialed in.
We'll get better.
We'll make
it more ugly.
Just in time for our supersized season 2 premiere.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us.
All right, let's get out of here.
Thanks again for watching, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We're on Instagram at Blank as a Fart. We're on Facebook at Blank as a Fart. Kind of on Threads. Super depressing. But, comment wherever you feel like commenting. We'll find you. We'll put you on the air. We'll respond.
And all the podcasting platforms.
All of the podcasting
iTunes,
platforms.
Spotify, Amazon. If you go to our website, on our Spotify site, you can leave a voice message.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool.
Yeah, lots of ways to interact. So have at 'em. Be a part of the show with us. Watch along. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks again for watching, folks. We'll see you next week for the season 2 premiere.
Yeah, baby.
Mahalo.
Mahalo. This is like bringing this track up.